Tate's ranting and raving, you know, to everyone really, but his ex-missus by then, Sarah Saunders, he's round her house and he's gone, I'm going to take Mickey up north, right, and he ain't coming back. Still, he'd been really kind to her. When Pat was in prison, he'd helped her out. And so she was worried, A, that the father of her son was going to commit a murder, and B, her friend who'd helped her was going to be murdered. She's in a bit of turmoil, and she thought, well, I better warn him. So she's contacted Steele and said, meet me. They met, and she goes, look, this is what Pat said, and he's gone, don't worry about him. But then the ball is now in Steele's court, right? He's got to think, is Pat full of crap, you know? Is he just talking the talk, or is he going to do it? And he thought, well, if he don't do it, he's got to pay all these people back, right? It's going to come to a head somewhere where we're both put together in front of these investors, and they say, well, are you lying? Are you lying? And he's thought, you know, they're threatened to do me, they're threatened to do this, got to go. And it was at that point that he decided he had to kill him. But there were other factors, you know, if you're given, say there was 125 grand's worth of gear and a third of it's missing, and you've been in the drugs game all your life, you're going to know a lump of it's missing. And in the drugs world, people talk, do you know what I mean? It's not like the robbers of the 70s. They're all grassing each other up and sticking knives in each other's backs. And someone had said to Steele, all that gear weren't bad. Do you know what I mean? We've got some of it, and there's nothing wrong with it. So Steele found out that they'd been double-crossed.
Now, a short while later, possibly in a drunken state, he told his partner Sarah Saunders, and he'd be going north with Mickey Steele, and Mickey wouldn't be coming back. Now, as you can imagine, Sarah was horrified by this, and she informed Mickey of what had been said about him.
So Steele's got a threat from Pat, he's got a threat from the investors, plus he's lost a lot of money. Do you know what I mean? He's lost a lot of money, so he's either got to swallow it all, and he's still got a risk of the investors putting it on him and damaging him or whatever, or he's got to do something. So Pat had shoved him in a very, very tight corner, and he weren't going to let him leave, so Steele said he's got to go.
I am pretty certain that if he thought that he was under threat by these three characters, one of whom certainly was capable of carrying out that threat, and that was Tate, Michael Steele felt, I'm pretty certain, that he was going to get in first. And that's why he enticed these three people down the lane. I don't really know the reason that he gave for that, but I can surmise that he said to these three, this location is ideal for me to do a drop of drugs from my aeroplane, and I would like you to come and see it.
So a plot was hatched to lure Tate, Tucker and Rolfe to a lane in Rettendon.
So they come together and went, right, we've got to do this, we've got to put this to bed. While all this was going on, all this shouting and screaming about money and everything else, Billy Blundle, who I said, a huge reputation. He was Mr. Essex, him and his brother. They were the governors in Essex. Billy came down the club to see us, and I was a bit surprised because it was unusual for him to wash up. He's going, I want to come upstairs, I want to speak to you. And he was talking about the Leah Betts thing because he was friends with Mark Murray, who, you know, ultimately supplied Leah's friends. And Tucker had been making noises about it, and he wasn't happy about that.
Well, I went to the club there where you was to look for him because, you know, there was a bit of a conflict and I needed to talk to him, you know. And Tucker wouldn't come and meet me, so he sorted out with Pat Tate to come see me. And I told him what the score was and what was going down and how, you know, they're upsetting wrong people and they're not prepared to come and talk about it. And I said, you do realise you're with him all the time, ain't you? So, and if anything goes down, you're going to get it as well as him. Someone creeps up behind you and goes bang in the back of the head, don't be surprised because, you know. So he looked me in the eye and he said, well, if it happens, it happens. So then I knew it was no good trying to talk to him or the other one.
And at the end of the day, obviously, if there is a problem with Billy, I only stand on one side of the fence.
But what really surprised me was it kind of revealed, in a roundabout way, but very seriously, that he'd invested quite a bit of money, about 40 grand, with Pat's scheme to import the cannabis with Steele. And he said he needed to get hold of them, not just Pat, but Tucker as well. Tucker about the abets thing, and Pat about his money. Didn't have a problem with me or anyone else. It was just them two he wanted. And they hadn't, since all this had been happening, they just took more and more drugs and were probably lying in some flat in Southend, cracked out their heads.
Even now, I've never seen anyone take as many drugs as those two did. I just never seen it. They just didn't stop from the moment they got up to literally they knocked themselves out going to sleep. They were just always taking drugs. It was to the point where they couldn't really even go out. They would stay in and literally lock themselves away just so they could sit and do drugs.
It shocked me that he was involved with Pat, but as I said earlier, they thought the world of the guy. When he was out in Spain with them, they looked after him, and I suppose they felt a bit betrayed by him, because if Pat had ripped Steele off and he'd ripped them off, and that is something is a no-no. Do you know what I mean?
They was three horrible guys, really bad guys. They've robbed a lot of people, done a lot of bad things, and there was a lot of people queuing to waste them. And they just upset the wrong people at the wrong time.
This is the only way out of it. He's got to go. And Steele was no fool, but I don't think he had the balls to take Tate out. So he's gone to Jack. You know what they've done to Ellis and his family, threatening his family. If you don't sort it, it could be yours next.
My dad was threatened numerous occasions. They sent somebody around there. My dad said a guy was there with a gun. And when they threatened my sister, right, I didn't know what sister it was. They said they were going to chop her fingers off. So got my sisters out of school. I had a shotgun, my dad had a shotgun. I was at the front gate, my dad was at the back gate. Stepmum went in and got my sisters. They came out, they disappeared. When we said, my family just went, and it was just me against them, because I had no choice.
John Williams has admitted to me in conversation that was the case. That was said to Jack. But he went a bit further and said it wasn't just that, it was also the fact that Tate had double-crossed them. They learnt that and they weren't happy with that. And also they learned he was threatening to kill Steele, do you know what I mean?
Now, Mickey still felt desperate by what he'd found out, and he was backed into a corner and had to come up with something to get himself out of this.
Tate being Tate thinks, oh yeah, it's a good idea, we'll do that, we'll rob this plane. Through their friend in South London, Mad Mickey Bowman, they obtain a machine gun. The plan is, the plane's going to land. Just the thought of it's horrifying. Tate running through a field with machine guns, unnerving just to think about it. So he's going to run up to the plane, he's going to drag the pilot out, beat him and steal a ton of... how'd you carry a ton of cocaine, do you know what I mean? There's no brains whatsoever. And load it up, take it away and sell it. And this is a great example of the type of people they were.
About 6 months after they died, my brother was arrested with Steele, Nichols and others on an importation charge of cannabis in Essex. And they arrested my brother at his workshop.